Hello, everyone, and welcome to another My Music. Hope you're all well today, whatever it is you're doing. I'm going to be speaking to Roisin in a minute about her life in music and what she's up to, and perhaps even ask her about her wonderful guitar that she's got there in the background. Always a good thing when a musician has a guitar in the background. But first, let's have a little glimpse into the future with this little video from Analog Trash.
Keep on, don't stop. Keep on, don't stop. Keep on, don't stop.
Roisin, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. I'm very warm. How are you?
Very warm. Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm okay. I'm actually not overly warm today. It's where we are in Somerset. It's a little bit cloudy and grey, so I've actually got a hoodie on today. The last few days, that wouldn't have been the case because it had been very humid, but it seems to have cooled down quite considerably. You said just before we came on that people get your name wrong all of the time. That's annoying. People get my surname wrong all of the time, even though it's Coath. They just don't get it. It's only got 5 letters. I even tell them it's coat with an H on the end. They still spell it wrong. They put an F on the end instead. Yeah, it's kind of an annoying thing. What you should do you not think, is write a song with your name in it?
That would be helpful, but very egotistical as well. Can you imagine? I write a song about
But you could just do it as a joke.
that.
Yeah.
I should consider that maybe. Yeah, I think people have. I was just saying to you before. People either know completely how to say it and they've met one or two other machines, or they have no clue at all. So, yeah.
Why don't you take the song Jolene and replace Jolene with Roisin, and that would be great.
That's genius. I've never thought of that. It works.
Roisin, 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 and there they be. They would never forget it, then, would they? Forever and a day.
Love it. That's perfect. I might make that like a little jingle and just send it to people every time they don't know how to say my name.
Exactly, and then send it to Dolly Parton, and
I'm sure she'll approve.
And she will get hold of it, and then she'll do it back. Get her to do it back as well, and then the whole thing could go viral. But you've been to Nashville yourself?
I have. I've been to Nashville a few times, both like just on holiday and stuff. I've got friends that live there, and also on like writing and recording trips and stuff. So yeah, I've been a few times. Really enjoy it. 12 was when I properly started to try and write songs and play guitar and things. Yeah. So my parents were always obsessed with music, still are, and played me a lot of great kind of like pop rock growing up. So Bruce Springsteen, that's my dad's favorite artist. Counting Crows, Tom Petty, Fleetwood Mac, Alanis Morissette, all kind of like really like American pop rock, just great songs. And I got taken to see a lot of artists growing up as well, like more like grassroots and like folky artists on the UK scene and things. So yeah, I naturally developed like a love of music and live music, especially at a young age because of them.
That's cool. Did you ever get taken to see the great Bruce Springsteen live?
I actually saw him for the first time last summer at Hyde Park. Best live show. So great.
So what was the first instrument you learned?
Piano. I did a bunch of piano lessons for a couple of years or so. Did the grades and all that kind of thing, but just didn't really love it. I felt like it was a bit of a chore because I was learning it like properly. And then, like I said, around 12, I asked my dad to show me my first few chords on the guitar because we've always had guitars lying around the house and things. And that's the instrument I really wanted to play. So he showed me 3 chords and I went off and taught myself the rest and kind of learnt from there. So yeah, I'm primarily guitar, but it's a piano as well first.
In terms of modern day artists, kind of peers, people that are out there at the moment, who are you sort of inspired by?
I love a range of genres. Like I was talking about Bruce before. My favorite band is Counting Crows, but I also love a lot of the pop kind of female artists at the moment. So Taylor Swift has always been like my number one like influence as well. I love Maisie Peters at the moment, Olivia Rodrigo, Sabrina Carpenter, Chapel Roan, all the pop girlies basically. I think they're awesome.
Fantastic. So talk to me. You've got on your list of songs on Spotify, one of those is a Flock of Seagulls song. I want to run. Who introduced you to that song?
So my producer / manager I work with had a lot to do with the band and that set of songs when they were coming out in the 90s. And basically during the time period where I wasn't releasing my own music and wasn't gigging my own original music for a bit because of the genre change, he suggested it to me because it's a really good kind of pop rock singer-songwriter track. And it was a good idea to do in the middle of like not releasing my own stuff. So yeah, I'd never done anything like that, like release like an official cover or something like that. So it seemed like a really good idea to do in between. And it's one of those songs a lot of people sort of recognize as well and was easy to put my own kind of spin on. So yeah.
Yeah, it is. And it's a very different version of it because the original is quite electro pop, etc. And yours has got a bit more guitar on it as well, which is good. The great thing is that what we need now is a photograph of you as something to remind me on here, on the board of people that have been on the show at some point, just to sort of name drop another Flock of Seagulls song. And of course, we will tag them in to the whole interview as well. Who knows? Maybe a collab at some point.
That would be very cool.
Yeah.
That would be a really cool idea.
You'd love to collaborate with Counting Crows as well at some point. Yeah. That's kind of a dream collaboration or a dream duet.
I think it's my dream like co-write, to be honest, if anything.
Yeah. Just from learning about the crafting of songs from Adam himself. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I've listened to so many podcasts of him talking about his songwriting as well. And he talks about it in such an interesting way, and he's like so poetic with things and really like makes you think about the way he's saying something in a song. So yeah, it'd just be really interesting to learn from him in that way.
How do you find all of this stuff? I mean, that when people get into music these days, all of this other stuff comes with it as well. The social media and building a fan base and all of that. How do you find all of that?
I think it's something you have to learn to have a good relationship with as an artist or as someone trying to do anything in music, because it's such a like big and good tool for you to use, social media of all sorts, to like market yourself, get your music out there. But it's also really scary and crazy to navigate as well. And there's a lot of like traps you could fall into of like, comparing yourself to other people, spending too much time online. Like social media can be a lot for anyone as it is, so you kind of have to learn to have a good relationship with it. Like I really enjoy using things like Instagram. I've had to learn to love TikTok a bit more because it didn't come naturally to me to use it, especially when it was first like blowing up, like during lockdowns and stuff like that. But again, it's like they're all free promotional tools, so you kind of have to get on board with it.
Yeah. It's with every different platform, you've got to kind of find your little niche, your little thing that you do. What's your little thing that you've found to do on TikTok? Because it's really hard, I think, to find that niche that's different from everybody else. But
to be honest, I still think I'm finding it on TikTok. I'm still like going through the motions of finding out what works for me on TikTok. I dip in and out of it. I'm either on it a lot or I'm like, oh, what am I doing here? But yeah, I just try my best to like just be real to me, which is like someone that likes to sit and write really honest songs and like tell on like real stories through songs. And like, there's a lot of people trying to do eye-catching things on TikTok or strange things or like, something that stands out. Whereas I think for me, it's just being real about my songs and just sitting and playing them sometimes. So I like to sit and like kind of chat at the beginning of a video sometimes about what it's about, or like, if it's something that's somewhat relatable, just say it to the camera first before I sing a song. And yeah, I just like to sit and just be real, like just wrote this, here it is,
Would you ever want to do what I'm doing? Would you ever want to sit on the other side and interview people about anything? I mean, if you did, what would you interview them about?
I think that'd be really interesting one day. I think I've got a lot more music to live through and a bit more of like the world to see in music, like in music terms yet. But I would love one day to be someone that like sits and actually talks to people about their journeys in it, and especially about like, you know, you said about the social media aspect, but also like how people deal with it, like mental health wise and things like that. I've always found that really interesting as an artist, and like is something that you really have to talk about like in your real life to people, because it's a hard thing to do and it's a crazy thing to navigate. So yeah, I think that would be really good to talk to people about.
In your song Midnight Indigo, you're getting a little bit more personal, a little bit more vulnerable than you did previously. How did that feel, opening up a bit?
Yeah, I think that's been a big journey for me, like writing wise. I think for years and years I wrote from like quite a stream of self-consciousness sort of like angle. Like I would just sort of write and it wouldn't necessarily be something that personal when I was younger. But over the last few years, especially like, you know, leading into really liking Counting Crows and Taylor Swift and stuff, I've just been a bit more like, right, just write something that's real, you know. And so the writing I do nowadays, including on Midnight Indigo and the songs that are kind of going to be coming from now on, they're a lot more specific to like real life things that aren't always nice, you know. And sometimes things just need to be said for how they are, because there's going to be someone that relates to it in some way.
Yeah. What's if someone was coming to see Roisin live, what does Roisin live look like for someone that hasn't seen you before?
Me live, I'm quite like a talker on stage. I'm quite like, oh, I went through this. It wasn't pretty. Here's a song about it. You know, I don't know. I just think sometimes it's really good to be vulnerable and like, you know, honest and raw in a song. Like, not everything in life is easy or straightforward or whatever. I've had a couple of comments from people recently, even about some of the songs I've put out, being like, oh, that's like you're writing about really toxic love and toxic things. And I'm like, yeah, sometimes life is like that, you know? And so that's what you can expect from me live on stage as well. Like, the last gig I did actually, I was playing some of these new songs that are going to be coming out soon. Some of the ones that are really like deep dive into like, you know, not easy subjects. And I had a couple of people come up to me afterwards and say, like, I really enjoyed it, blah, 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 but who hurt you? Like, who upset you?
Can I go and get them?
Yeah. Start a little army of people to go and get them. No, it's just, but I think that's what writing and being creative is there for, just being real about things, you know, and that's the way I get things out and process things. And, you know, it lives in its own little bubble of that song.
Yeah.
And that's fine, you know?
Do you prefer it might sound funny, but especially at this time of year when you've got like festivals and whatever, do you personally, from both a fan and sort of like performer type of thing, do you prefer like festival type gigs, bigger, you know, more open space, larger gigs, or do you prefer more intimate gigs?
I definitely prefer more intimate gigs, because my favourite way to like connect with people through music is literally just playing solo on a stage with my guitar. I think I love the idea of doing big like band sets and like festivals one day, but primarily right now the way I write, I feel is best showcased through me just like getting on a little stage and like connecting with people that are there to listen, you know. And festivals are great, but it's more people are there for a party, you know, and both are great, you know. But
Where's the weirdest place? Where's the weirdest place you've ever played?
I don't know about weirdest place, but I gigged anywhere and everywhere I could growing up, just for like the experience and getting out there. And I think the weirdest gigs I ever did was, we've all been there. I remember being like 15, 16, turning up and playing to no one other than my parents. That's weird.
Yeah, we've all done that.
We've all had to do that, you know.
I think
it's a weird one, but
yeah, we have all done that. I think physically the weirdest place I've ever played is in a skip.
In a skip. Wow.
Yeah.
I can't even picture that.
Well, we decided to do it one year at a festival because they had a skip, and we thought, well, it'd be quite good if we got in the skip and played, because it's kind of like everybody would notice. It did actually work. It did work. Like, you know, we got like quite a crowd round the skip.
Like,
so
what are you doing at the skip?
yeah, exactly. Well, there's There's a drummer just got in the skip with a whole drum kit. You know, it's quite weird, but yeah.
That's cool though. I think, to be honest, it's not quite as weird, but probably the weirdest like physical place I can think of playing is like I played on like stood on boats while people have been on like the land, like maritime festivals and things. But yeah.
So you've been put out on a boat, and everybody's standing watching you as you're on a boat.
Yeah, and like the boat is like, you know, moored up like to the side, but
it'd be worrying when the boat starts moving, going out to sea.
It's like bobbing around, yeah. And I'm like, bye.
Oh, what? Where would you like to see yourself by sort of like the middle of next year? Where would you like to have seen yourself progress by then?
I really would like to be gigging a lot more by then. I've not gigged at all, like barely at all in the last year because I've been focusing so much on recording and things, and I've missed it so much. I've done the odd gig, and every time it reminds me how much I love it. But I hope by, you know, in a year's time, I'm gigging a lot more regularly. Hopefully still releasing lots. So yeah, that's the plan. Frequent releases and hopefully gigging a lot.
Obviously, at some point, a support slot with the Counting Crows on the offering or whatever. But looking towards next year, is that any kind of artist that sort of appears to you or whatever that you know you would have your eye on, and so in terms of maybe a support slot for them?
As you say, Counting Crows, and anyone in that sort of genre, like pop rock. I've supported Chris Shiflett from Foo Fighters before, and that was like the perfect kind of support for me to do sound wise. So yeah, those sort of bands I think I kind of suit support wise.
Someone else doing maybe an acoustic set and whatever, and then letting you kind of come and do an acoustic set as well, etc.
Yeah,
that would
really
be great.
Cool. Yeah,
fantastic. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. And behind the scenes, you wouldn't have seen any of this because you know, we do the editing and all of that sort of thing. We've overcome some amazing technical difficulties in order to bring this to you today. But thank you so much for coming and talking to me about your music. Where's the best place for people to connect to you? I would imagine it's Instagram because you've got quite a following on there already. Is that right?
Yeah, so Instagram's my main place that I'm posting like every day and stuff, and the platform I really enjoy the most at the moment. But yeah, TikTok as well. I'm posting a lot on TikTok and we'll be posting a lot more. I'm on all the others as well, you know, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, YouTube. But yeah, the main place I'm up to date is Instagram and TikTok, where I'm Rosie_Roisin.
Cool. And what you'd probably really like people to do is take one of your tracks and add it to a playlist. Yeah.
Honestly, it's so appreciated when people do that, even small playlists, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we're going to add it to the My Music podcast playlist. So it will therefore appear on there. And people, if you follow that, then there it is. You'll just be able to hear one of Roisin's songs instantly added after this show has gone out. So therefore then go and listen and then follow her as an artist on the old Spotify. Amazing, and whatever.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
That's what we're here for. That's what we're designed to do. It's been a pleasure meeting you. I wish you well for the future. We will tag the Counting Crows in so that, you know, we try and make that happen. Thank you for putting up with any of the technical difficulties that we had in trying to put this together today. Folks, thank you for listening to another My Music. I hope you've enjoyed this conversation with Roisin and do go and check out her music. If you've enjoyed today, please go and share it with your friends and family. If you haven't, we've wasted about 20 minutes of your time. We don't really care. You shouldn't have been here. You should be doing whatever else that you wanted to do. You know, it's your fault. Okay, I can't give you your 20 minutes back. No, we're not responsible. It's not our problem. Until then, bye for now.
Thank you so much.